Water Sky by Jean Craighead George. Water Sky is an American novel about a boy named Lincoln Noah Stonewright who is visiting the family of an Inuit whaling captain in Alaska. In this opening chapter, the author describes Lincoln's arrival in his new climate. Chapter 1. Lincoln. A boy in a bright blue ski jacket and Maine hunting boots stood on a snowy runway. Under rumpled black hair, his crooked nose and wide brown eyes gave him an expression of good humor, although he was not amused at this moment. Yesterday he had left Boston and laid over in Anchorage in high spirits. Now he was about to run back to the friendly jet that had carried him across Alaska to this barren Arctic outpost. Suddenly, a cloud of frozen fog swirled over him. He could not see the plain, or the sky, or the flat snowscape that rolled endlessly out beyond the airport. Wrapped in an Arctic whiteout, he could have been upside down or sideways for all he could tell. And so he stood still. In a few moments he was standing in the sunshine again, and the terror of the tundra blew off. He turned and ran to the airport terminal, his face happy with purpose. He was going to do what he had come to Barra, Alaska to do. He did not look back again. Inside the squat building, he waited until his eyes adjusted to the dim light, then nervously scanned the faces of the people who had come to meet the passengers. No face satisfied him. He repeated the words of the man to whom he and his father had talked by telephone several months ago. "You will know me by my blue-rimmed sunglasses," Vincent Oligak had said. The boy glanced from face to face. There was no one with blue-rimmed sunglasses. "You Lincoln Noah Stonewright?" The boy spun around, and his eyes met those of another boy. Yes, I am." "I'm Cusick." Cusick wore a red woolen hat pulled down to his black eyebrows. A ruff of wolverine fur circled his darkly tanned face like a rising sun. He was dressed in white except for his sealskin boots. They were silver fur with a checkered border of black and white fur. As Lincoln shook Cusick's hand, his family's old photographs of Eskimos came to mind. "I have walked into those pictures," he said to himself. "Everything is the same, the clothes, the boots, the faces." He stood quietly, wondering what to do next. "How are you?" the young Eskimo asked. "I'm glad you're here." His exceptionally dark eyes were slanted upward as if he were perpetually smiling. His cheeks were broad and high, like those of the Eskimos in the painting that hung above the fireplace in Lincoln's home. It had been a centerpiece for his childhood thoughts on rainy days and snowy nights. The painting depicted his great-great-grandfather's whaling ship frozen into the Arctic ice for the winter. Kids like Cusick were playing baseball on the ice with the adult Eskimos and the Yankee whalers. As the whalers from Boston and New York were called, Lincoln managed to smile at Cusick. "Vincent Oligak is sorry he cannot meet you," Cusick said. "He is not well." Lincoln breathed deeply to quell the panic that was rising in him. For 4 months he had thought about this man who was going to meet him at the airport. When he awoke at night, he would clutch his pillow and wonder how living with an Eskimo family would go. Then he would think of Vincent Oligak, his father's good friend. He was once mayor of the enormous North Slope borough of 88,000 square miles and 4,000 people, his father had said. But he is soft-spoken. He is one of the best whaling captains who ever lived, but he loves all whales. He is a scientist who goes beyond technology. He knows what the animals think and what the sea ice says. But most important, he is a loving man, a big man. When Lincoln had thought about meeting Vincent Oligok, he had felt better about going so far from home and had gone back to sleep. Now he was frightened. Vincent Oligok was not here. Maybe, Lincoln said to himself, Mom was right after all. She had not wanted him to take the trip to the Arctic. Alice Stonewright had never really said why, not even that it was dangerous or that she would miss him, but she had let his father know exactly how she felt. Frederick, she said to Lincoln's father one April evening shortly before Lincoln was to leave, I'm going to say this once more. I don't think Lincoln should go to Barrow. It's not necessary at all. Her sandy eyelashes had lowered over her pale blue eyes too late to hide her anger. She's sure mad about this one, Lincoln had mused, then given up trying to understand what was going on between his mother and father. Fortunately, they were all at dinner, seated at the big mahogany dining table in Lincoln's great-great-grandfather's house, which now belonged to his father. Lincoln could concentrate on balancing his peas on his knife instead of listening once more to this argument. But there was no argument. His father did not answer. The only sounds Lincoln heard were the clicks of silverware against the china plates and the thumps of the waves hammering the bay shore at the bottom of the big lawn. The plans were firm.